Alexis Nunes alongside Mark Ogden, looking back at some Premier League action that we just saw. Augie, let's start off with Spurs, a 3-1 win against Newcastle at St. James's Park. And here's a little stat for you. Jose Mourinho has never won as a manager at St. James's Park until today. So that's pretty surprising given the caliber of the clubs he's managed before Spurs, with all due respect to them. But how happy will Jose be with this result for Spurs?
It's a really big win, They beat Arsenal at the weekend, they've won at Newcastle today, and all of a sudden Tottenham, they can't make the top four, obviously, but they can finish as high as fifth this season if results go their way. If they beat Leicester at the weekend and Leicester drop points between now and the end of the season, then, Tottenham could finish fifth, which may not sound a lot for Mourinho, but fifth will guarantee a place in Europe next season. They're currently in seventh, and I think if they finish seventh, it might be enough, but if Arsenal win the FA Cup, then it won't be enough. So I think Spurs need to do a bit more, and this result today has given them the platform to go and beat Leicester, which is become a huge game because obviously Leicester have their Champions League aspirations as well.
And I know, of course, we're always quick to judge Jose Mourinho, but it is hard to, considering everyone has been saying that, look, he hasn't really had a full season yet at Spurs. This is not his squad. There were moments in the first half where, you weren't sure if they were trying to just play a high-pressing game. He probably won't be happy with the defensive frailties that we also saw in the first half. So from going ahead to next season, what do you think Jose Mourinho is going to do? How is he going to try and mold this Spurs team? What kind of Spurs can we expect?
Well, I think we've seen a kind of a glimmer of what Spurs will be like. I think they'll be like the Man United team was under Mourinho, and like the Chelsea team was towards the end. They'll be a team that will try and grind out results. They will not be spectacular or a flair team, but I think he has to kind of make the most of what he has. And at the moment, all of Tottenham's talents, the real talents, are in attacking positions. Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Dele Alli when he's playing well, Lucas Moura. I look at the back for Tottenham, and I don't think that they're a convincing Mourinho unit. I think you look at the defence and think he needs better players. So, he's got people like Vertonghen and Alderweireld who are both, in the 30s that need replacing. So he'll want to get defenders in. But because of the situation that Tottenham have got, financially having to pay for the ground, they've been hit pretty badly by the COVID-19 pandemic. They're going to struggle to find the players that he wants. So that's the only problem for Mourinho, that there's obvious issues to address, but I don't know how he does that now. People might say, well, sell Harry Kane and that'll pay for a new back four. But you sell Harry Kane, then you haven't got the guy who's going to score all the goals, and he scored again today.
Like you said, he scored again today, 200 club goals for Harry Kane. I mean, just thoughts on that and how much of an important part he is to Spurs just going forward if Spurs want to continue to be competitive with the big boys.
How important is Harry Kane to Tottenham? You could argue that he's too important.
It's Tottenham.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. This is the real contradiction about Harry Kane. He's so important to Tottenham that they actually need to find a way to survive without him. They got to the Champions League final without him last season, but obviously it came back and they didn't win the game. But I do feel that they have to spread the goals around a bit. But it's one of those. It's a big debate, isn't it? If you're Tottenham, do you cash in on Harry Kane? In the current climate, I don't think you're going to get the £200 million valuation that Spurs rate him at. He's not in the Neymar bracket because of COVID-19. But if you sold Harry Kane and got maybe 100 million from 120 million, you could buy 2 or 3 very good defenders, which would make it more of a Mourinho team, but then who scores the goals, So that's the problem they've got. It's a tough one, I don't know where you go. I'd keep Kane. I think at 27, he's probably missed the boat for a really big move. I don't think Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barca, Juventus are in the market for him. So I think Kane and Tottenham are stuck with each other. It's not a bad place to be, but, if you sold Kane, you get 3 defenders. So weigh that one up.
All right, well, that's a perfect time, I suppose, now that Spurs keep, have European ambitions, and I suppose they've now kept themselves in that conversation. Wolves is another team, of course, that definitely has European ambitions. They have been playing in Europe. However, they played against Burnley today, and they had a nice lead, but then let it slip. 1-1 is how it finished. Augie, how much will they be hurting by this, especially given that Spurs result that we just saw?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic goal by Raul Jimenez to put Wolves ahead, and it looked like they're winning the bag until the very, very last minute of stoppage time when they conceded a penalty. But that is a massive, massive draw, or it's a massive loss of 2 points, I should say, for Wolves, because had they won that game, they could have had an outside chance of finishing in the top 4. That they still had it within their grasp to finish with Chelsea. Now they dropped 2 points; they can't do so. For me, that rules Wolves out of the Champions League chase. They still have a mathematical chance, but I think realistically now that's killed their hopes. And they've had a great season. They could still make it in the Europa League, but if they miss out on the Champions League, then what happens to Jimenez? What happens to Adama, Traore? What happens to people like Moutinho, Diogo Jota? There's a lot of players that there's a question mark over the future if Wolves don't make the Champions League.
Well, we have to just continue on that one because, like you said, I mean, Raul Jimenez's stock just continues to go up. Adama Traore, again, is somebody that has been linked with some other now top four clubs as well. But we do keep talking about Wolves, sometimes even for top four spots and at least European spots. And now that they have, tasted European football as well, they're constantly in the conversation. So can they afford to let players like this go, or are they in any position to actually hold on to these players so they can continue building?
I think Wolves are well back financially. I don't think they've got any concerns in terms of having to sell players. But I think the issue certainly with Jimenez is that I think he's 29 now. And I think if he gets the opportunity to go to a major club in Europe, a real superpower club, it's going to be hard at his age to turn it down. This could be his last chance of a really big move. Now, Wolves obviously are a club that's growing, but if a Man United come in or a Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, you can't deny Raul Jimenez that opportunity to play for a big club like that. Adama Traore is a bit different. He's a younger player than Jimenez, and I think, he'd be quite happy to sit around for a year and take his chances in 12 months' time. I've been told that Barcelona are keen on Traore, but they want to wait until next year to do it. So, Man City and Juventus have both been looking at Traore, but if he waits a year, he could go to Barcelona. So there'll be no rush on his part. But I think for Jimenez, I think it's a big year. If they miss out on the Champions League, then he might decide at the time as the perfect time for him to cash in on his form.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.